Most people consider Roswell, New Mexico, 1947 to be the most significant UFO event in United States history. But in 1977, something much bigger happened, something the public wasn't allowed to know about, when humans and extraterrestrial beings had a very close encounter.
In '77, a team of scientists hired by the Air Force were sent out to Devil's Tower. It's some landmark in Wyoming. Now my job was to monitor the radiation in the area, in case we needed to evacuate. They didn't tell me what we were there for, so I had no idea what to expect.
Now, I was on the project from the beginning, 1977. I was studying under lead scientist Dr. Claude Lacombe. We were studying strange objects seen flying in the desert. Dr. Lacombe wanted to try an experimental method of using music and different tones to communicate. So in the desert one night, we heard the same tones echoing throughout the canyon. We deciphered it and found out what it actually was. It was aliens. Fucking aliens.
Dr. Lacombe was able to find that the aliens were communicating with each other through musical tones. He was able to decipher that they were scheduling a meeting somewhere in Muncie, Indiana. Really? Indiana? Is that even a real state?
I was brought into the project after the Muncie incident. Air Force radar was picking up multiple strange crafts with no ID, and they tracked it out to some stretch of country near Muncie and found 6 UFOs flying low to the ground, scaring the piss out of some hick locals before just disappearing into the sky.
The next 5 months were a blur. Our team followed Claude all over the world trying to contact these aliens. Somewhere along the way, we discovered that the aliens had a fascination with Devil's Tower. I don't get it. If you ask me, it's just a huge dong coming out of the ground, but the aliens love that shit.
So, with a team prepared in Wyoming, Dr. Lacombe attempted to make contact.
So there I was, walking around like I was just born yesterday. Comes on the only one out here who doesn't know what was going on. I mean, no one would tell me. And then suddenly some old French dude starts coming out and he starts playing the piano.
So Claude was playing the tones to communicate. Then over the horizon we see these bright lights, like multiple suns flying toward us. I thought we had gotten multiple smaller craft.
As the star-like lights crept closer to the team on Devil's Tower, it became clear that it wasn't multiple ships. It was the mothership, a gargantuan building-sized spacecraft hovering next to humanity. Dr. Lacombe and his team continued to play their music, initiating a back and forth between Earth's smartest inhabitants and the first extraterrestrial beings to communicate with the likes of us.
I mean, I couldn't fucking believe it. It's like you're telling me I'm out here on a project trying to talk to aliens. I didn't even believe in aliens. I couldn't believe they didn't tell me. It actually turns out they did tell me. They mailed me a memo about the job, but I didn't read it because I thought it was just another overdue bill.
So then the music gets more intense, and suddenly it's like the aliens are playing a whole symphony. An entire song. It was incredible.
I mean, it was all right. It wasn't Led Zeppelin, I'll tell you that much.
After a seemingly endless back and forth, the mothership stops and opens its bay doors. Scientists were prepared to meet our first galactic guests face to face for the first time.
So the door comes down, and I'm expecting some weird reptilian creature, but then just a bunch of dudes stepped out, like humans. And we get to talking to them, and we find out that they're pilots from World War II. And these guys looked like 20 years old, but they had dog tags from 1943. I couldn't believe it.
We still don't know how they don't age. We think it has something to do with light speed travel, but if I'm being honest with you, it could just be alien super magic for all we fucking know.
Even after returning our lost soldiers, the mothership's door remained open. Many nearby scientists anxiously awaited what was next to come.
Now at this point we had no idea why the aliens use music to communicate with each other, and with us. I mean, we thought it had something to do with how sound traveled, or maybe their language was based more on music than ours. Turns out, the aliens just really loved to fucking party.
Man, when that skinny bastard came out and started busting down, I mean, that blew my damn mind. Now in the 70s, we didn't have breakdancing like that. I mean, that blew my gourd.
I honestly was stunned. The first contact with other intelligent life in human history ended in a fucking dance routine. Bastard didn't even say anything. He just stood there dancing for 2 minutes and then just fucked off. I was shocked. It all felt like a big joke.
Eventually, after a full 2-minute breakdance routine, the visitor decided it was time to leave. It entered its craft and eventually, the mothership took off, returning on its intergalactic voyage.
Look, the whole thing was kind of silly. I mean, how would taxpayers react if they found out the Air Force was spending millions of dollars on a wild goose chase hunting down UFOs just for it to end in a bunch of lost soldiers and a dancing alien? I mean, we learned so much, yet so little at the same time.
I think we learned so much from this experiment. I mean, we answered one of the big 3 questions. What is the meaning of life? We don't know. Is there a God? Probably not, but who's to say? Are we alone in the universe? No, we're not. And we know that now. Well, we know that. But not everyone does.
Some questions got their answers, but whole new ones were created. Why were they here? Where did they come from? What could they teach us? Will they ever return? We may never know. All we will have is a very close encounter.